We thought February of 2020 delivered the threat of a lifetime, and then came February of 2022. And this new threat that could spread far beyond Ukraine.
Putin's actions betray his sinister vision for the future of our world.
He's not going to stop with Ukraine.
And then you see Poland and Romania and all of those countries.
That's where you start to think about World War III.
Because Vladimir Putin's deceptive arguments for invading Ukraine also apply to at least 3 of our NATO allies, which we're obligated to defend. And knowing that he could not win a war against the collective forces of NATO, Putin said if we try to stop him from taking what he wants, he'll launch his nuclear missiles and destroy the world.
Победителей не будет.
And while we hope that he's bluffing on that, remember who we're dealing with.
One thing about Putin doesn't bluff, which is unfortunate.
And while Putin blitzed Ukraine, we also have to remember his fellow autocrat in China wants to take Taiwan. And they've signed a new pact which states there are no forbidden areas of cooperation, while other tyrants already aligned with Russia and already aligned with China would be eager to follow their lead. This is what the tyrants are now calling the new order of the world, and this is now the new challenge of our time. This is a global clash now between the autocrats on one side and free nations on the other. And there are 3 important things we need to remember. Number 1, don't be surprised when you see even more disinformation and instability and chaos and disorder. That's exactly how the autocrats stoke fear and sell their promises of restoring order to draw and hold their power. Number 2, do not be surprised if you see throngs of Americans embracing or sympathizing with the autocrats. It always happens that way. It happened after Hitler's rise to power, right here in the United States. Look at this. These are some jarring reminders from the National Archives of how many Americans in the late 1930s rallied for the Nazis. This rally at Madison Square Garden drew more than 20,000. Take a look at these old films from that same era. You see American summer camps in which the children raise the Nazi flag. The autocrats back then were good at persuading people who didn't have all the facts. Now consider what autocrats can do today with so many people's perceptions and knowledge drawn from whatever they're fed by algorithms on social media. But that leads us to point number 3, because as grim as it sounds, we can still work through this and prevail in the end. Greed and the desire for power are just inherent flaws in humanity that will always pull the world toward conquest and tyranny and war, and always have delivered mountains of evil. But as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, there is also a creative force in this universe that works to pull down those gigantic mountains of evil. And that's why he said the arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice. So as we face a threat that may continue to spread through invasion or try to take root from within, just keep in mind Dr. King was telling us the moral arc of the universe bends toward justice, but it does not bend by itself. We have to keep working together to push it that way, to overcome the bullies of his time and now the bullies of ours.